Let's start from the beginning. So we'll have this new folder. So we're just going to create this folder structure. So let's create our server. So this is just an empty file. So let's do touch server.js. Build all this out. np init y. Oops. Oops. There we go. And then np install all our dependencies. So let's do express. What is this?
Are you building backend first?
Yeah. I'll build out the file structure, and then basically I'm just going to take the Mongoose modularized and just paste it into the server.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me try this again. All right, there we go. All right, so let's try this again. Install all our dependencies.
Leave a little marker guide.
Express. And body parser. All right, and then I'm going to just copy and paste my modularized Mongoose. Grab it and plop, paste. And I'm going to bring it up here. All right. So this one. Okay. All right. All right, so that's I added modularized Express app. So let's test these routes using Postman. So yeah, yes. So we'll do get, or we'll create one. So for this, I'm just going to use a name. So we'll just do post5, see if we get something. So get back true. So it's working. Let's do get. So that post5 that I added shows up.
So I recommend that when you guys make your routes for your REST app, that you notice the URL is /API. So you can make it really clear that you're going to that route. And that way you can also like strong delineating when you're creating the mongoose or whatever, are you sending an array of objects or just an object?
In this case, it's just an object, just one entry. And so get and post is working. Cool. So the next step is generate components, and
also, you know, in sort of in junction with basically testing that your modularized mongoose is already working right with Postman. And Postman, you really want to create dummy data, right, so that you'll have something to display. when it's working correctly. Okay, so we did that also, and so now we can work on generating the components.
Okay, cool. So I'm still in here, so I'm gonna generate my new, call it Mongo mod -4, and I'm gonna add the routing. It's taking some time. Try it again. We already created it.
This is last year to the partner. I just was trying to make the route including the Slack.
I said load up, so I was wondering if that was okay, but I don't know if it would load up all the files, so I just deleted it just in case and tried again. Not sure why it's slow. I mean, it's like all here. Did I just cancel it? I don't know why it's taking so long. Oh, there we go. All right, took its time. All right, so let's build out our components. So let's go into create a dashboard component.
I recommend basically building out all your different components that you want to work with. So
I'll do add. Better than Mongo. It's fine. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of all this. I can just ng sir, right? And then it'll be fine. Or how do you want me to? Oh. Okay. No. Oh, you want me to build first? Oh, okay. Oh, and build out. Sorry.
And then you should be able to, there's more than one way to run this, but when you are running a Angular app within your Express app, if you build, right, that's going to create this folder /this folder, which is a copy have that, then you can just run node mod server.js from the root directory of the project, and then it will basically be able to display that in the route. So assuming you have that extra route, you have the route yet?
Huh?
You have that route inside your Mongoose.js for this mango app, like capital, without all?
Yeah.
You have it? Okay. Can you show them that one? Send your route. No, the routes in your Express app.
Oh, Express, sorry.
So that file, at the very bottom, we have this app.all default, right? So that means that when you navigate to a URL that isn't one of those API routes, it's going to be turned into it. Yeah,
Oh, Mongo, right. Okay, good call. Oh, sorry. I have another instance of it. Sorry.
Another instance of it already?
Yeah,
Okay.
just one sec.
And you get to go through that whole process of shutting down your Mongo server again. If you already,
Oh, no, it's right here.
okay.
I have it. All right. So, okay. All right.
Alright, so good.
All right.
That's basically the first step. I've got everything displayed. We have our Mongo running, connected, and we know where our API is working. So now we can add our different components to build things together. Make sure you remember to add that catch-all on your steps file. Instead of just like that.
Okay.
And you can just run everything off the account. And then you don't need to run that.
So the next thing we'll do is build a routes. That's the next one, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, app routing. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna need to import all these components. So where's paste those in there. All right, so we'll need one for our root. Do one for our root.
You have that for me for matching that route exactly. So because that's completely for matching with this last route. If you didn't have the full part, then it matches with the 6. So that means you can start with the C and match it to it.
And final one. Oops. Okay. I think that is all the 3 components that we need. For you guys, do you like sometimes have to? Does it automatically populate some of like the form module and all those things for you?
Not on mine,
No. Okay, I'm just save time. I'm just gonna. Okay.
you need to add some modules.
Huh? Yeah, I need to have services. Um, okay. I think that's it for modules. Just getting all the boilerplate stuff done. Okay. So I think we're ready to move on to the HTML part since we have our routes. Okay. So for our dashboard, we will, I guess, have a link to the. Is it okay if I just copy and paste some of this stuff? Yeah. Yeah. And I can just go over it. Okay, so we'll need one to go and create our mongoose, our new Mongo, our mongoose, and we will need a. So I built a table to host all of our new mongooses, and I have this ng4 to basically go through my array of mongooses and just display that mongoose information. And in this case, we're only going to look at name, but if you wanted to add more attributes, shouldn't be a problem. And we'll do the same for the add. Okay. It should have it. I could. Yeah, hold on. So that's working. So then we'll go on and build an add. So on the add page, we'll have a link to go back to the dashboard, and we'll have a form to gathered the to collect the new Mongoose information. So, and I added some validation, for some Angular validation on here. So for the first line, I have this form Mongo to basically have all of our our form data, and then I have this function when we submit. And like I said, we're only looking at name, and for that field we have just a minimum length requirement, and basically to if there's any errors with validation, we can then test them here. So we can go ahead and actually I need yeah, create new. So
So, good after we just have like when you're part of this, so you just want to build out enough of our hours so you can actually let go down to it, right? Okay. And then just start writing out. You add a validation stuff later, add that code to the later, 1 minute later, but I'm just telling you how to use it.
So have some front end validation. So, so right now we can't because we haven't set up the TS file for that. So let's go do that.
Right. So I think the first thing we can probably do is actually set up. So at this point, right, we've kind of built out our static HTML file. We have a little bit more than that because we have our examples also, right? And so we can pass in data from our component TS to HTML, which we probably do, right? Because we made this Mongo dictionary, right? So we're passing that information in. That's just number 7, right? So we've basically done that at this point. If you wanted to do any add inputs where you're like have nested components, I think this would be a good time to do it as well. So you can make sure all your parent components are displaying all your child components, and that information flows down. And you can just do that with like dummy coded data, like that Mongoose thing that we passed in, right? And you can just set up multiple Mongos. And then after that, you can set up your service basically. And I would recommend that when you do your service, you do your GET requests first. Okay, so I think you can do that part.
Okay. Did you want me to go through and do the create?
Do the service first.
Okay. Okay.
I would say the creating stuff for the last after you got the service.
Sure. Okay. So need to import. In our constructor, so I want to use. For mapping.
What that says is this library that we assigned that variable underscore HTTP TypeScript HTTP over here, right? And then we're calling .get on it. This is going to trigger the GET request on it when basically this something subscribes to it. So we have GET request at this URL. It's going to hit our express route, and then when we get that data back, we're going to map it to JSON. It starts as a JSON string,
Yeah. So how this flow kind of works is it'll go through the service, then go to routes, and it will find that that API. What was it?
this one, show all mongooses.
Yeah, this one. Sorry. So it'll find and match that, and it'll run. it'll go through here, and then it'll hit the mongoose.js to do show all here.
So if you're ever like not sure, right, you follow the flow from like if it's ever not working, right, start at the very beginning, make sure you're calling the service, right? Make sure you console.log that correctly, right? Make sure that that API is being called correctly in the routes, the console.log is there, because the what you're trying to pass is appearing there, and then make sure it's actually being passed through here. Of course, this part should all be working if you already running stuff.
Okay. So just make sure everything is. Um,
Grabbing data, you get request, you subscribe to it.
oh, right. I have to set that. All right.
It should be in you're grabbing it from your
Oh, dashboard.
dashboard, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where you're grabbing
Yeah.
everything? Yeah, okay, yeah. So then you need to make a call. You need a dependency index service, right?
Yeah.
Subscribe to it.
Constructor. We'll need to utilize those. So now we have access to these. So when I load the dashboard component, I want it to automatically retrieve all of the data. And so I could build this like retrieve all inside my ng on init. So what I'm doing here is I'm utilizing the HTTP service to go do this method, this retrieve Mongoose, which we created in the service here. And it'll go through the routing, go through the backend, and come back. Sorry. Okay. And we need to subscribe to it because we want to make sure that we listen for any changes in our dashboard list, right? So if we add new Mongoose, we want it to subscribe and be updated. So that's why we need to do this subscribe to listen for those changes.
You probably need to add the service to your Kafka module.
Oh.
Mongoose does not exist on type HTTP service. If you spell differently in the service. Which one did you get for now? Other one is the HTTP service file, right? It's gonna restart. Check your dashboard. This is saying dashboard for iOS 17. Go to your dashboard for 2017. You probably should. It's better to have it. It doesn't really give an error. It's just convention.
Okay, so it runs. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't. NG build is sometimes finicky. Okay. So we have.
So that's the one we created. Right?
Yeah, I think 5 was.
So that's how we get the get request. So now we have basically the service working for all our get requests. We're pulling all the data from the server. If you wanted to post something else on Postman, we can confirm that it shows up here. And you can try that. Good, right? So we know that the get request stuff from the server is working. So now we can work on the post request stuff, and we just work on the create stuff.
Okay.
I think we'll probably skip the create.
Okay. So I think we're done with the dashboard one. So let's go ahead and start building out our TypeScript file for this.
So let's look at the add Mongo that.
So which one, sorry?
The add Mongo HTML.
Ah.
Right. So this was copy pasted in, right? Basically with the snip on it, right? We're gonna run this create function called create, and we're gonna pass in this form Mongo. Right. So that's the method.
Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and build this. So we'll just copy this stuff. To import all that stuff. Let me just build this and then I'll explain create form. Oh, I'm still wrong. Okay. 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 So in my TypeScript file here, I have this create form, and that's from this submit on submit here. And what this will do is, because I have this Mongo object, I get that data filled in based on the double binding, right, two-way binding um, for that name. And what I will do now is pass that object to this create Mongo method here. And again, it'll go through services and hit this create Mongo. And I'm going to pass this object into my route here, and it'll go through the back end. And if you remember, I believe this will just save it to our database. So, and again, we need to subscribe here because we want to listen for any changes in our data. So when we create something, we want the basically the data to be updated. And so when we then um, create this new Mongo and goes back to the dashboard, it will update with that new data set. So that's why we need to subscribe, so it listens for those changes. So if I create a new Mongo, um, so it'll, because of that subscribe, it'll update the full list with the new edition of our new Mongo. And so that's get and post.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Can you do those refreshing things?
The refreshing.
That's like afterwards you're like using router navigate.
Oh, right. Yes. So essentially, after it completes this block of code, basically I have this router.navigate, and that's kind of like my redirect, which will refresh the page. So I'm on my add mongo component.html, and it'll reroute to our root, which is our dashboard component.
Refresh is actually kind of critical because after you update it, you need to refresh it in order to make it repopulate the form with the updated code.
Yeah. So
you may not need to do that depending on how you set this up exactly, but the way you have to set up with basically refreshing that information and reassigning it to the property, you have to do it.
yeah, with that refresh, what that allows me to do is within the ng on init, I can grab that data when it goes to that page. So it'll automatically run, and so it'll be able to retrieve that data.
So you can try real fast without the refresh. Count that out. Right. That's Mongo, right? Okay.
Hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if it's buggy. Guess it still runs.
Maybe restart. Sometimes when you think it's supposed to work, it's not working, I would just
Sorry.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe something else. What's even taking you back that route?
That's a good point.
Okay. Another detail, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically how you build out the type of stuff. You're supposed to do stuff. You're the least and kind of you, on your knowledge exam, you will have less and less routing. You want to go type in different pages because there's nothing else you will because every time you post a request. And also, if you aren't working with the API yet, you can post your data to the server, like successful like in the routing section or the data section. You may want to consider just having sort of some hard coded API service. Like if you're working with a product manager side.
How much flexible will you use to do that? That's pretty good. But like, that just sounds way easier.
Oh, just hard coded into the thing. Well, you're not really still doing anything on the server. You can refresh the page and all be gone. I'm just saying for those assignments, unless you have a results exam.
Also, using the API.
Yeah, it wasn't including the API. Otherwise, your guy refreshes the page and thinks he's everything inside the shop. Okay. All right. Any questions?